Cool. So, hi everyone. My name is Tanya Gordino. I am a health and fitness coach, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about nutrition today. How to read labels, talk about sugar, artificial flavors and colors, and all these types of different things that you should avoid eating and what kind of stuff you should be eating. I will preface that I do not have a degree in nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist. All of the knowledge that I'm about to give you, I have either learned through a basic nutrition class in college, or it has been through absorption through my dad, who's a chiropractor, and the general internet and reading and just my experiences and the different information that's out there for anybody, including yourself, to Google and research and just kind of brush up on. So I can't be held liable for any of this stuff. It's not FDA approved. This is just my knowledge that I'm sharing with you peer to peer. This is not professional advice by any means. So with that being said, this nutrition call is based for the average American who is, frequenting McDonald's or Burger King, is picking up fast food on the way home, packaged foods from the freezer aisle, processed foods like Doritos, hot dogs, bread, Cheez-Its. I don't eat this stuff anymore, but I used to, so I'm having a hard time coming up with them. But if that is kind of where you fall, then this nutrition call is going to be awesome in learning what we eat as coaches and what we do in our challenge groups, which are online accountability groups. You may have been referred this video by your coach, and you may be in one of the accountability groups. So this call will be great for you to change your lifestyle, eating habits, and how you kind of look at food, and some different resources for you to dig into more. So I'm going to try and spend about a minute on each slide so that we can get through this pretty quickly and get you moving on. So first thing we're going to start with is reading labels. So if you haven't familiarized yourself with a label yet, you want to be looking at the serving size that they're talking about. Because sometimes it'll say like, ooh, 100 calories. And you're like, great, I can eat the whole box. It's only 100 calories. And then it'll say like 7 servings. And one serving is like the size of your thumb. And that's why it's 100 calories. So you want to be conscious of that. And then you want to be looking at this image here. And you want to be maximizing on your fiber and your protein content. And you want to be looking at low sugar, low sodium, and your fat content should be low as well, except if it is a healthy fat like grass-fed butter. The other thing you want to look at is ingredients. So I'll get into what kind of ingredients you want to avoid overall, but I didn't know this before becoming a coach and before getting into this healthy world, is that when you read ingredients, the very first ingredient, they're listed in order of quantity or substance. So if there is, like in this example, textured soy protein, that means that that is the number one ingredient that this food is comprised of. So if you eat Doritos, the first thing it's going to say is enriched wheat flour, because that's the largest amount of ingredient in that entire product. So read it in the order of what's in it. Okay, so sugar is this crazy thing that we're all obsessed with, and it's addictive, and studies have shown that it's affects the brain similar to cocaine. And people who consume higher levels of sugar, in order to get that reward that you feel from sugar, if you get a sugar rush, you get a burst of energy, and in order to continuously sustain that sugar rush, you have to keep increasing your levels of sugar, which makes sense why if you've ever been dehydrated and you have sugar, you want more sugar because you get the sugar rush, and it just becomes this ugly cycle. But if you do a sugar detox, it makes it easier to avoid sugar. So there's a lot of research shown about sugar and the way that it affects our bodies, but it's known to repeatedly elevate your dopamine levels, which controls the systems in your brain, which give you senses of reward and pleasure in a way that's very similar to like tobacco, cocaine, and morphine, so like that high. And some studies that they did on animals showed that when they maintained high sugar consumption, they would binge eat into adulthood, and they also faced neurological and psychiatric consequences, which affected their mood and motivation. So if you look at kids who have poor diet, a lot of the time they'll exhibit traits of hyperactive disorder, or they'll be diagnosed with, inability to concentrate, or all of these things. And it's so closely related to our diet and sugar intake. So you really want to look at sugar like it's a drug and facilitate your diet around avoiding that drug. So it's hard to find out that everything has sugar. It's hard to decipher that everything has sugar. So if you look at the ingredients of most things, it has some sort of sugar in it. But the hard part is that sugar has been disguised as many different names. So your ketchup has sugar, your salad dressings have sugar, your nuts have sugar, peanut butter has sugar. Like everything has sugar. If you're not looking at the ingredients of it, you'll just, without knowing, you'll be consuming sugar all of the time. So here are some names of artificial sugars, artificial sweeteners you want to avoid. So aspartame, saccharin. I'm awful at these names, but you can see here from the screen what they are. I'm going to also make this available as a PDF so that you guys can check this out. So sweeteners that I think are safe for sugar consumption, because we are Americans and we really enjoy sugar. So if you're going to do it, I would say go with these healthy options. You want to look at honey and making sure that it's organic and properly sourced. The darker, the better. Organic maple syrup, stevia, molasses, and coconut sugar. Stevia has, depending on the research that you look at, it's still not completely, it hasn't been around in the market enough to know the bad side effects, but from the research I've done, I've concluded that it's something that I am perfectly fine with ingesting, and as long as it's properly sourced, stevia is good to go. Now, you can also do a Google search on a list of sugars and their disguised names. I've printed it out and put it on my wall on my refrigerator so that I make sure I don't purchase anything with that kind of stuff in it. So some other things in addition to sugar that you want to avoid is artificial ingredients. So pretty much if you look at the back of a label, and I always ask myself, I start reading stuff. Okay, sodium nitrate. I have no idea where that comes from. I know sodium's a salt, but nitrate, that sounds like a chemical. That sounds like my chem class in high school. Probably shouldn't be eating it. Why? Because it's added to processed meats to stop bacterial growth. It's linked to cancer. Sulfates. I don't know where to find a sulfate besides like the smelly sulfur water, So if I'm reading an ingredient and I can't find it on a tree, or I don't know that it had a mother, and I can't pick it out of the ground, it's probably something you shouldn't be eating. And if you take out your phone at the grocery store and Google it, you'll find out that it's got all this bad stuff in it. So anything that's got a chem term, mono or tri or di, or it's refined something, if it sounds like a chem term, you probably shouldn't be eating it. So it's going to be artificial. It was made in a lab. You don't want to be eating it. You can see here from the screen, it's got all of these toxic side effects to it. And a lot of the time they're just preservatives, because your food is meant to last long, which is why food manufacturers add it to it. So it tastes better and you get addicted to it and it lasts on your shelf and you want to keep buying it, and it makes your food cheap. Enriched flour. Anything that's enriched or bleached is not something you want to be eating. Here's some more: magnesium, chlorine, dioxide, paraben, all this stuff. So let's take a look at the Doritos here. So ingredients, it says whole corn. So that means that's the first ingredients listed. That means that this Doritos product consists of mostly whole corn. So that's good. At least it's more corn than it, at least it's not soy or something like that. And then as you read down, it says vegetable oil, and then it says maltodextrin, made from corn. I don't know where the hell to find maltodextrin. It doesn't grow on a tree, and I don't know how to go get it in nature or, boil it so that it becomes that, right? So not good so far. Salt, okay. Cheddar cheese, okay. Whey, monosodium, like you get the point here. So, and then as you go down, it's got artificial colors in it, yellow, red, all this kind of stuff. So far, not good, right? Now, let's talk about artificial coloring. So in the United States, we allow artificial colors like red, blue, green, And this is stuff that is synthetically made and added. A lot of these modern food dyes are derived from petroleum, and it's banned in other countries. So I don't know about you guys, but the Europeans have something good going on, because I don't see them all obese like us. So you want to be avoiding artificial coloring, just because it's synthetic. Now, soy. So back in the day, by back in the day, I mean like 5 or 6 years ago, I remember soy being the new thing. Like everyone's like, oh, you should have soy. It has all of these benefits. It's so good for you. And the truth is that, yes, soy can be good for you, but it has to be organically sourced. And it's got to be monitored in a way that you're not ingesting too much of it. So soy has something called lectins in it, and it'll mess with your leptin sensitivity. So your hunger and energy expenditure, and it makes your brain think that you're hungry even when your body has more than enough calories. Leptin resistance could lead to insulin resistance, which adds to a whole host of problems, also known as your metabolic syndrome. And so that's why a lot of the time people say, avoid soy in your products, because it's going to increase your hunger and your energy expenditure to break it down. The other thing is that soy has high levels of, I'm so going to butcher these, goitrogens, which are compounds that inhibit your thyroid's ability to utilize iodine correctly, which could then lead to hyperthyroid problems. Women especially are, right now I would call it an epidemic of thyroid problems among women. And it's because of these soy. So soy, you'll find it in soy sauce. You'll find it in sauces. You'll find it added, like the Doritos, they add soybean oil to it. So it's in a whole bunch of stuff. So even if you're not eating like soybeans or like tofu, you're still ingesting soy without realizing it. Also, there's a lot of protein shakes. There's a lot of health foods that have soy in them, or that have been marketed as health foods, and they're solely soy based, and people are eating them like, oh, this is so good for me, and then they're having thyroid problems and they're hungry all the time, and it's just a hot mess. So yeah. And then the other part with soy is the estrogen. So soy contains plant estrogens, which effectively raise your estrogen levels and lower your testosterone levels. So in men, this is going to lead to lower libido, fat accumulation around the waist, and a loss of energy and stamina, and even those ugly man boobs. And then for women, it can disrupt your periods, it can mess with your fertility, and it can also put you at higher risk for breast cancer. So on soy. All right, cow's milk. As Americans, you grow up with those got milk commercials. You have your pasta, spaghetti, and you have a glass of milk. The 1950s, that's like all you see, and you just have grown up in this like milk culture. And realistically, your body doesn't need it. In addition to that, it is filled with all kinds of hormones. So cows right now are getting all kinds of hormones. They're in really bad conditions where if you watch any of the documentaries on our meat industry, you'll know that the conditions that cows are housed in, and how they're pumping them with all kinds of antibiotics and hormones to pump them up. So it's just not good to be consuming a byproduct of an animal that's being pumped with all kinds of chemicals and expect it to not come out in the milk, right? So when a woman's breastfeeding, she can't have alcohol, she can't have all of these things because it comes out in the milk. So how do we expect to consume cow's milk when the cows are being injected and digesting all of these awful things and then putting it into our bodies? It doesn't make sense, right? So you can do a little bit of research on that. There's also a bunch of gross numbers. So there's actually pus in milk, and the national average shows that at least 322 million cell counts of pus per glass. So that's just nasty. And this has some side effects to like Crohn's disease, and there's just a hot mess of it. So avoid cow's milk and cow byproducts unless it's grass-fed. Now, gluten. I am gluten-free. I have an intolerance. I had mercury toxicity, and I learned through that mercury toxicity the importance of gut health. And I found out that my immune system, including my gut, had just been under too much stress, and I had developed a sensitivity and intolerance to gluten. And I'm pretty sure I've had it all of my life. So there is this fad about gluten right now, and everyone's going gluten-free for dietary reasons, mostly to lose weight. The problem with that is that being gluten-free doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to lose weight, because a lot of the gluten-free products that serve as alternatives or substitutes to regular gluten products actually have more calories, because they are trying to mimic a basic gluten product like bread or cookies. So they're mixing all kinds of different gluten-free flours and ingredients to mimic the consistency of our typical bread or gluten products today. So what actually is gluten? It's a protein. It's found in several grains, including wheat, rye, and barley. So think about bread, think about beer. A lot of liquor is actually not gluten-free as well. And the biggest problem with gluten today is that through the years, the process of making bread and making gluten-based products is that the industry has changed. Monsanto has dominated the industry, and there's a lot of genetically modified occurrences happening to wheat in general, and it's caused us to, as humans, not be able to consume this modern Western diet. So our human body has not evolved enough to catch up with how fast Monsanto has genetically modified food. So now when you ingest gluten, your body doesn't have the enzymes to break it down. And that's why people feel so much better when they stop eating carbs, because their body isn't exerting as much energy to absorb nutrients from the food that they're eating. So when your body isn't spending all of its energy breaking down the food to get nutrients from it, what happens? Your energy goes up. So now what's happening with bread is that they're adding extra gluten to it. So before it was just like yeast, wheat, eggs, cool, make your bread. And today, if you look at the back of bread, it's like enriched bleached flour, and it's got all these preservatives and all of these things. So they're adding extra gluten to make the consistency of it be softer and stretchier and more delicious, but it's not adding any nutritional value to us. So there's a great New Yorker article that talks about this that I would love for you to check out. I put that here in the link here. So some documentaries for you to check out that have been absolutely life-changing for me. One of them is called Hungry for a Change, and it just depicts how the average American goes from starting their day in the morning to what kind of food they eat, what they do for lunch, and how tired they feel at the end of the day, and how much of that is related to food, and how food manufacturers are advertising and marketing food to us. We no longer look at food as a fuel, but we look at it as something emotional, the same way that you get excited on Christmas about a big, beautiful bike or a brand new car. It's just we've been consumers of food versus looking at food as fuel. So Fed Up, Chef's Table, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, King Corn, all of these are available on Netflix. So I definitely encourage you to check those out. So now let's talk about clean eating and what you should be eating. And my rule of thumb is this: if it comes from the earth or it had a mama, it is good to go. And it had to have not been manipulated by a human. So, technically Doritos could come from the earth because they came from wheat. Wheat came from the earth, but you got to think about the Doritos have been manipulated by a human into some other byproduct. So here are some things that I say, go for it, have at it. Vegetables, fruits, grass-fed meats, wild-caught fish, so not farm-raised. That's another thing you can Google as well. Grains, non-GMO corn, nuts, seeds, Greek yogurt, healthy fats. All of those, go to town on them. Now, why do we need to be having whole food nutrition? Like, yeah, okay, we see commercials about it. We see Michelle Obama talk about, getting healthy, but why? Like, why do I need to do this? The reason is that whole food nutrition is going to give you all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the enzymes, all the phytonutrients, all the antioxidants that your body needs synergistically, which means like as a whole, working all together to give your body the nutrition that it needs to support your good health, right? Because that's what you want to be. You want to be healthy. You don't want to be sick. You don't want to be tired. You want to be overweight. You want to be living your best life. So let's talk about how you're going to go about doing that. So you want to start including healthy fats into your diet. And, health fats have been kind of a bad word for us. Like, low fat was really popular and no fat was really popular too. But you actually want fat in your diet, but you want it to be healthy fats. So healthy fats are essential to your brain health. Your brain tissue is actually made up of 60% fat. Healthy fats boost your immune system. They have benefits for your skin. They improve your blood cholesterol levels. They're going to lower your risk of heart disease, and they're going to benefit your insulin levels and your blood sugar levels. Fish is the best source of omega-3s, which is a type of healthy fat, and you can get that from salmon, mackerel, anchovies, oysters, sardines. You want to be careful with fish consumption because of the mercury in fish nowadays, so stay away from tuna. And on the vegetarian side, algae such as seaweed is amazing. Fish oils, walnuts, flaxseed, Brussels sprouts, kale, spinach, parsley, those are all great. In addition to avocados, coconut oil, and I'll give you some more examples at the end. I'm going to give you a grocery list at the very end of this as to what kind of groceries you want to be looking to buy. So gut health. I mentioned before that I had mercury toxicity, and I had eczema all over my body. I was sleeping 14 to 16-hour days. I had to get special disability while I was in college because I wasn't making my classes. I was depressed. I had chronic fatigue. It was absolutely awful. And what I found out was that your gut health is actually one of the most important things to keep your body on track. And it's actually been referred to as your body's second brain. And it's largely responsible for very critical functions of your body. So your digestive and immune systems, it's capable of affecting your body's vitamin and mineral absorption. So when I was talking about gluten, if your gut is incapable of regulating good bacteria because it's working too hard to absorb nutrients from what you're eating, you're going to have poor gut health, and that's going to affect your energy. It can mess, which is why I was messing with my skin, because I wasn't able to absorb vitamins and I wasn't getting the fats for my skin. It can mess with your hormone regulation, your digestion, your production of vitamins, your immuno response, your ability to eliminate toxins, so you're going to be getting sick more. And it also has a very strong connection to your mental health. Your ENS will signal the body's central nervous system, which will tell it to trigger a mood change. So if you're eating poorly and your gut sucks and there's no good bacteria, it's going to mess with the chemistry in your brain, which can cause depression, anxiety, all kinds of stuff like that. And it's also there's a lot of great research on this right now in terms of affecting cognitive functions, such as thinking skills and memory and early Parkinson's disease. And the last part that I thought was so interesting is 90% of serotonin is made in your digestive tract. So if you have a happy gut, you're going to have a happy mind because your body's going to be producing plenty of serotonin. This is a cool little infographic on the different parts that your gut affects. So anxiety, autism, schizophrenia, obesity and diabetes, colon cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, Parkinson's disease, all this stuff, depression, all linked to having gut health issues. So you really got to make sure you get your gut checked out and get it balanced and in harmony with the rest of your body. Now, if you are one of our challengers or you work with one of us coaches, Shakeology is one of the most amazing things that we can do for our nutrition on a daily basis. And Shakeology is pretty much an orchestra in the way that it's been formulated and the way that it's been put together and blended together to get you everything that you need. So in addition to a full panel of vitamins and minerals that you would take in like a multivitamin, vitamin A, B, whatever, it's got all these other cool things. So it's got protein and amino acids. It's got antioxidants, phytonutrients, adaptogenic herbs, prebiotics, and digestive enzymes, which are also called probiotics. So prebiotics is what feeds probiotics, so it's like the food for it. And these all blended together create that beautiful orchestra to help you have your body functioning at its ultimate level. So some of the ingredients in Shakeology that correspond to each of those categories are acai berry, barley grass, wheatgrass, maca root, spirulina, all kinds of digestive enzymes, goji berry, whey protein, depending on what flavor of Shakeology, whether it's vegan or regular. So there's just a whole amazingness of superfoods that are occurring here. So now, if you're just starting to drink Shakeology or you have never heard of it before and you think it's just a protein shake, it's not a protein shake. It is a meal replacement shake. And this is how it differs from other protein shakes or other meal replacement shakes. I think one of the most important things that come from Shakeology and how it's different is the creator of it. His name is Darren O'Lean, and he's also the founder of something called Superlife, and he's been referred to as the Indiana Jones of superfoods. He is widely recognized for finding the most exotic superfoods and being a supplement formulator. He's been in the industry a very long time, and he's done plenty of missions all around the world to source, formulate, and research some of the greatest edible food sources for optimum health. And he did that for Shakeology. So he literally traveled everywhere, China, Brazil, Mexico, to find all of these different superfoods and make sure that they're being properly sourced. In addition to that, there's also a full team for research and development and quality assurance. So there's actually a wonderful podcast on it. If you're into podcasts, Google or type in Shakeology and you'll find the podcast and you'll get really in-depth knowledge on this. But basically how it really differs is the science behind it. So Darren O'Lean talks about active compounds in these because people are always saying, well, I just want to eat real food. And the truth is that you're probably on a daily basis not going to consume enough food to get all the nutrients that you need in one day. You're just not, because you're busy and you have other things to do and you're not going to be eating that much, right? So the way that they do it is that they source the best stuff, they clean it, they make sure it's ready to go, they pulverize it, and then they test it to make sure that the active compounds in each of those superfoods and antioxidants and all the stuff I mentioned earlier are actively there and present so that when you drink it in Shakeology, it's ready to go. And then what they do after they test that one specific ingredient, then they blend it all together and they test the batch to make sure that all of them are working together as an orchestra to make sure that they're all active compounds so that when you're drinking it, it's ready to go. So that's how it's really different, is the quality assurance and the research and development team to finding the best quality stuff and not putting fillers or soy into the ingredients. Okay, so I'm going to go through, I've got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to go kind of quick through this. So protein and amino acids in it, they help with building lean muscle, healing your wounds, improving your hair and skin. My hair used to grow fast before, but now it's like nonstop. Like I can't get this stuff to stop growing. So it definitely helps support optimum brain function, mental clarity, improved mood. I've got typos in this, but just ignore them. And reduce cravings, because when you have the nutrients that you need, your body's not craving crap or making you feel unsatisfied or unsatisfied. And then adaptogenic herbs, that's like maca root, mushrooms, some of the other ingredients in there. These are really attributes that are medicinal. So back in the day, in ancient history, they used this for medicine because they didn't have pharmaceutical companies creating cures, right? So these are plant-derived agents that help the body adapt. It protects it from stress. It's very unique from other substances in that it has an ability to balance your endocrine hormones and your immune system. So it helps you adapt. Adaptogenic herbs. Okay, probiotics and digestive enzymes. So it's got pea fiber and yacon root. And these are, again, contributing to that positive gut health, making sure that you have better intestinal health, stimulate the growth of friendly bacteria for better digestion, and it's going to help the body break down foods and increase that absorption of nutrients so that you perform at your best. And then antioxidants like acai berry, camu camu, I'm butchering all these names, goji berry, grape seed extract, green tea, maca root, pomegranate, you guys, all of this stuff is in Shakeology. Like, how crazy is that? This all helps reduce the damage that's caused by free radicals. And free radicals are known to be a major cause for degenerative conditions or aging. So if you want to stay young and youthful, it's going to help with preventing heart disease, blood pressure, dementia, arthritis, all those ugly diseases that you want nothing to do with. And then phytonutrients. So barley grass, algae, chia seeds, flax, grapeseed extract, again, qualifies as both. Spinach, spirulina, quinoa, these are green superfoods. These help with boosting immunity, helping to fight diseases, slowing down the aging process, detoxifying your body, and it also has alkalizing properties to keep the pH balance in your body rocking. And that's pretty much a general description of the different components that are in Shakeology and why they're so amazing for you. Even if you're not drinking Shakeology, it's good to know what the benefits of phytonutrients are, of adaptogenic herbs, of probiotics, and these are things that you either want to be consuming as much as possible on your own or making it easy on yourself by just drinking Shakeology. It's already a powdered form and it tastes good. And then last but not least, I will give you my grocery list. So this is pretty much what I eat. It differs week to week. I'll add in seasonal fruits and vegetables, but for the majority of what I eat, I'll purchase grass-fed, clean ground turkey, sirloin beef, chicken tenders, like not like the chicken tenders that you get at McDonald's, but like the ones that, you know, come packaged. And then for the dairy category, Greek yogurt instead of sour cream, lower in fat, it's better for you, it's got good bacteria. Almond milk, again, avoiding soy milk and avoiding cow's milk. And then feta cheese. And feta cheese comes from a goat, I believe, and that's why I eat feta cheese, but I could be wrong on that. You can Google it. Cage-free, organic, free-roaming eggs. It's so annoying, but there's a difference. So they need to be organic, they need to be cage-free, and they need to be allowed to roam freely. For veggies, I buy prepackaged cauliflower and broccoli and spinach. I go to Trader Joe's. Yes, there are some negative things to be said about pre-cut, prepackaged stuff, but I'm a busy girl and I'm going to eat my veggies as easily as I can. Eventually one day I'll go completely organic and grow that shit in my backyard. So right now not happening, but that's what I do. And then I buy romaine lettuce, cucumbers, basil, tomato, onions, and garlic, and then maybe butternut squash or whatever else is there. For fruits, strawberries, blueberries, bananas, apples, tangerines, grapes, apples. I put apple spice. For nuts, I'll go with almonds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, raw. No salt on these. These are just raw. Healthy fats, grass-fed butter, olive oil. Make sure it's 100% olive oil, that it's not mixed with something else like canola or vegetable oil. Coconut oil, avocado, almond butter. And then things on the other category, I'll buy dates. I'll eat those, or I'll mix dates and almonds and I don't know, like raisins, and I'll put them in the blender and I'll make like energy bites, and those are really good and they taste like a good snack. And then honey and corn tortillas, and that's pretty much what I eat majority of the time, and I just mix and match all of that and make all kinds of cool recipes. So I hope that you guys got a good overall on what kind of nutrition you should be following and what kind of diet you should be implementing into your life. And go ahead and check out those Netflix documentaries I recommended. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Tanya Guardino on Facebook, or you can comment below on this YouTube link and I will get back to you, or reach out to the coach or person that showed you this video. Have a good one. Bye.